We will talk about the things that mean so much to you, like going to a restaurant or hanging at the zoo. Clothes and sports and funny news, crafts and travel too. Nothing ever scripted, so expect the unexpected.
Hello. It's the Chatty Patty Walla Walla Talk Show. It's the Chatty Patty Walla Walla Talk Show. It's the Chatty Patty Walla Walla Talk Show.
Hi, welcome to our show. It's September 17th, episode 65, and I'm Chatty Patty.
And I'm Paula Walla. And I gotta say, Jason's playing the drums on that song.
On our theme song, Jason Gittinger, our friend from the Detroit School of Rock and Pop. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
This is fun.
Yeah, so tell a story about our theme song. How did that go down?
We had like a Monday get together record thing for a while, and that was one of our projects one week. We were like, she's like, we need a theme song for this thing. And I think you were like, you had some ideas for it, and then a handful of people were there. And
and I didn't even have a name of the talk show yet, and I kind of wrote the song on the spot, and it was like, the song is better than our show.
No.
Well,
Have you seen any of our shows?
I was waiting here back at the studio for her to return with a song. I can't believe you guys accomplished it in that short time. But
we were in and out of there in an hour.
I'm like, what's the name of our show? And she's like, okay, are you ready, Chatty Patty?
Paula Walla Talk Show.
Talk show.
That's awesome.
All right, so Jason, you are the founder of the Detroit School of Rock and Pop in Royal Oak.
Indeed.
And thank you for that.
I know.
Oh.
Music, we all need music in our lives.
We do. So tell us how that got started. How'd you
I honestly
get going on
that? I've always liked getting people to play nice with each other, if that makes any sense. And at one point in the early 2000s, I thought of creating a place called the Detroit Jazz Collective. And then by the time it was 2006 or so, that had morphed into, okay, how can I get more people to show up than just one specific style of
genre?
music?
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So
I love jazz though.
I do too. It's my degree in college was in jazz studies.
Yeah, you got to prove to your mom that it's worth something.
Right? So both of my parents were professional musicians, so I luckily never had any issues growing up with them thinking it's a bad idea, I guess, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's cool.
So my whole childhood was music. In fact, there was if it was like if you were going to join a little league team or something like that, it was like a major catastrophe in our house because they're like, how do we deal with that? We don't know how to deal with that.
Sports.
They're like, we can get this like rehearsals and shows and stuff like that, but they had no idea what like soccer games.
So you'd go to a football rehearsal?
Yeah, exactly. I played football for one season as a kid, and that was maybe 5th grade or something like that. And that was probably the last of the sports, just because
it's a tough sport,
and it's a lot of time and stuff. And I was already spending tons of time behind a drum set. So,
what do your folks play?
My dad passed away in 1999, but my mom plays the trumpet and keyboards, and she was an elementary music teacher for 30 years.
Awesome.
My dad was a Mr. All-Around Music in Marion, Ohio. He had a music store when I was really little, and then he had a piano and organ service for a long time. He arranged stuff for orchestras and stuff in Central Ohio. They had a wedding band forever as a kid.
So do you have siblings? Do they all play?
I have a brother and a sister. I don't know if either of them have picked up their instruments in a number of years.
So they used to.
They used to, for sure, yeah.
Wah, wah.
I'm not saying that I should. I'll let them speak for themselves.
Partridge Family?
I don't know that either. There was at one point, my dad would arrange these. We all played stringed instruments, too. So I played the violin, my sister played the violin, my brother played the cello. So he would make these, like, string arrangements of stuff, and we would play these, like, string arrangements at church. Like the three of us it was really weird. I think back now and I'm like, oh
my God, I would love if my husband's in a band with me now. He plays bass, but my daughters don't play anything. Do your daughters play anything?
So technically no, except for so they've grown
Till
up.
You force them?
No, but they're 10 and 12 almost. As the youngest will be 10 in a month. But they do nothing musical, even though they lived every school night in our music school for their entire lives so far. So now they're big enough they can stay home. The other night I was playing a gig on Friday night, and I get a text message from my oldest daughter, and she's like, Dad, is it okay if I use this keyboard that's hooked up to the computer? And I was like, sure.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, she was like, what program would I use? And I'm like, well, if you just open up GarageBand and start fiddling around. By the time, like, I got on my first break, like, she had sent me a video of a song she programmed, like, from nothing. And I was like, you've been to one summer camp and you've never seen this program before. And she's like, well, I've seen you use it a couple times. And she had already figured out how to do it all. And I was like,
Perfect example.
I
of
might
how
have to call her.
how your kids are watching every move.
yeah. So that I was super proud of that because I'm like, it's like me as a kid. You know, the only reason I played the drums is because it's the one thing my dad didn't do.
They needed a drummer.
Yeah.
Let's have a son play the drums.
Oh, Dad, I need you, by the way, I need you to buy me this expensive drum kit. Like, we have every other instrument you could ever imagine, but that one thing we don't have, that's what I want for Christmas.
So
right?
that's what it got to, actually. By the time I was like 13, I decided I wanted to be a drummer forever, probably. And then it was like every magazine that would come out or every recording of some drummer, whatever, I would just race to get. So my dad noticed that curiosity and sort of fed it. So at some point, I used to go to Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp in the summertime, and I was from Ohio, so that was a significant undertaking
Yeah.
to drive 6 hours to get there. And one year I went on the drums. I went on trumpet for 5 years, and then one year I went on the drums, and I made the Gold Jazz Band, which was the best jazz band group or whatever. And then they were having auditions for their international tour, so I made it into their international program. So in 1994, I went to Europe with their, for like the summer, basically. You go for like
fun.
4 weeks. But in order to do that, I needed new drums, so my dad did mortgage our house.
Oh, my gosh.
buy drums.
Oh, so
And
sweet.
I just got new drums this past summer, but that drum set I still have, and they're in like mint condition because my dad died a long time ago, and I don't want to mess up those drums.
No,
So
no.
I did like 2 gigs out of the building with them this year, but for the most part, they just stay in the recording studio for the students to play on. So, because I just don't want them all destroyed.
Well, what brought you to Michigan?
Yeah,
my-
well, more specifically, what brought you to Royal Oak? We're all Royal Oak residents here.
Yeah. So my wife grew up in Warren, and
So did I.
look at that.
Did she go to Lincoln?
She did.
Oh my God! So did I.
All of her family.
She's
had
way
to-
younger than you, Paula.
She was there circa Eminem time.
Yeah, I was pre.
Oh, yeah.
But they, her family still, her mom still lives at 9 in Van Dyke. So that's where my wife grew up. And we met in the live shows at Cedar Point Amusement Park. So she was a singer-dancer and I was a drummer. And then,
That's fun. That should be like a movie.
yeah, it was awesome. So,
That's so cool.
So she was from here, so I moved here. And then we lived in Ferndale, and then we lived in Warren for like 10 years. We had a house over there. And then when I was looking for somewhere to build a music school, I was like, well, it's got to be somewhere centrally located. And so I thought, oh, maybe Ferndale, Royal Oak, that's kind of an artsy kind of part of town. And I was like, that might be a good spot to put something. I tried to get a building for it in Ferndale, but that didn't work out. And then one day I was just driving past this place where our school's at now.
Yeah, what was it before?
It was a bike store for
Oh,
50
yeah,
years.
yeah. Remember there was a bike store there.
I remember.
And there'd been like 4 lease signs in the front window, or lease or sale signs or something like that. And I saw the side door was open, so I just rolled up and walked inside and said hi to the guy who was there, and he was polite enough, and he ended up being the guy who owned the building. And then I convinced him to let me...
Paint it orange.
Yeah, well, that was later. I convinced him to let me talk to him and his now ex-wife about figuring out a way to buy it from them over some time. And then it took like a year and a half to get all the city approvals and those kinds of things to get through that stuff. And then build all the walls and everything. So everything inside that building was gutted. And then
Wow.
we built all of that.
It looks amazing.
And did you have a lot of support from the community and the parents? How were you received when that first happened?
When we first it was just me, but then I can't say persuasive, but I'm pretty excitable. And so if I'm excited about something, I can generally talk a lot of other people into being excited. Because they're usually great ideas, and it's a great idea to have a place where people can commune musically.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, explain how the other schools of rock and pop, like, do you have any affiliation with them at
I
all?
don't. The only thing is the word School of Rock is in the middle of our name.
Is it a franchise?
That one's a national franchise. I believe, if my history is correct, in looking at their stuff, it was started by a guy named Paul Green in Philadelphia, and every one of his locations for a long time was named the Paul Green School of Rock. And from my perception, I always thought, wow, that's a pretty arrogant way to go through life. Like, I didn't build the Jason Gittinger School of Rock and Pop Music. I didn't even put a drum set on the logo, and actually I've gotten, my parents' drummer used to give me a hard time about that. He's like, why'd you put a guitar on there? Because I'm like, there's more people that play guitar than the drums. It's not for me, it's for them. So I didn't build a school for me. I built a school for us. And by us, I mean regionally us. So the Detroit.
Right.
I wanted to call it the Detroit School.
For me and you and all of our viewers at home.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I do hope that that the words of rock and pop music disappear someday, but I don't think it's time to do that yet. Because I don't really care what kind of music it is. I just care that it's stuff that people enjoy.
So then
Well-
it would be the Detroit
School of Contemporary Music or something like that.
Music School.
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
What are some other things you're involved in Royal Oak? Because I know you're on several committees.
Yeah, so I serve.
And you have the ear of a lot of important people.
I don't know about that. I'm probably shouting to get their ear. No, I was on the Chamber of Commerce board for about 9 years. At some point was term limited off of that, but I still serve as the immediate past president of that board. So I go to the XCOM meetings for that. So I served as the president for 2 years of that. About 6 or 7 years ago, we started the Royal Oak Commission for the Arts at City Hall, and I went to the first meeting and nobody else raised their hand. So they.
What is the Royal Oak Commission for the Arts? What is their role? What do they do?
So it's I can't remember the mission statement off the top of my head.
Why?
But, but it's a function like basically a committee at City Hall that handles some arts related business for the City Commission, and then we make recommendations to the City Commission, and they can either vote them up or down, I guess. So it eliminates a whole lot of discussion for them about topics that may not have experts sitting at the City Commission table, and it helps them have more input into arts projects and efforts in our community. So some of the things that have come out of that, I started the summer concert series a number of years ago, which...
How is it different from concerts on the library lawn?
It's way better that, like, they block the street off and with the lawn and the chairs.
If I give you some history...
It's in front of Gusling Alley.
What it else is, who now has outdoor seating.
we love the library, but at the time we started...
Boring. No, I'm just kidding.
No. But at the time we started them, we did do them at the library, and then... they weren't doing any concerts at that moment. So when we started these things, it was the economy was horrible, and everything had come to a crashing halt, and anything that would take any kind of money for arts or something like that was just, we don't have any money for that. And in my world, it doesn't take money to do anything. Paula's got a guitar right there. We could go play a gig right now. So
Busking.
Exactly. So it doesn't take money to make these things happen. It takes effort and people. And sometimes people need money to feed their kids, and other times there's people with tons of extra time that don't need any money. So let's make it happen. So, and I tend to recognize that, I guess. So,
You lazy bum sitting on your butt. You've got nothing but time. We need you to come and volunteer.
yes. So,
I think people need to get involved in their community. There's a lot of people I want to yell at. Just do something.
Jason, you
Quit
need to join the
complaining.
Optimist Club.
I
Come
know.
on.
you
get
be at
on
7
the
a.m.
7:15.
Oh, sorry.
7:15 a.m.
And
at
we have
National
monthly
Coney
social-
Island at 12 in Rochester.
It's fun.
It is fun. I know. I like coming to. Challenge is I'm on middle school duty at 7:45.
Okay.
What are you, a crossing guard?
No, I have to take my daughter to school. Yeah, it's good times. But so we started the summer concert series. I put together the piano project, and all of these things, by the way, are
That's
not.
so cool, the
I
piano
love the
project.
They're
piano
fun.
project.
A bunch of pianos all over town.
Yes.
They're not meant to be like, hey, look at my project. I only do them because if nobody does anything, then what good are we? So,
Right.
So if I'm going to preach that we all should bring something to the party, I might as well do that myself, right? So,
Right. Well, I think that, maybe you say, I want this in my town. I'm going to make it happen.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to do that. I mean, as long as it's positive and
Yes.
hopefully.
And then it always grows into things. Like I did this bestest concert ever thing, and then it turned into, I just want a cool community gig for my band to play, and now we're in our 8th year, and it's
raising a lot of money
now
for the
it's for the
Optimist
and I
Club.
turned it into an Optimist fundraiser, and
Yeah. It's a train. That train
yeah.
is rolling.
Yes.
it's hard to stop things.
Well, it's easy to keep it going because it's like, oh, I already did that once. I don't have to do the heavy lift the second time.
But I did stop having my Christmas cookie exchange.
Thank
that
God.
stopped.
It got
know.
really, it got crazy.
Well, there was a white elephant gift exchange, and it's got to the point where ladies were fighting because you could steal from. There was some like almost brutal.
What
Yeah.
what kind of cookies are we talking about?
Well, no, we exchange
No,
cookies,
no.
but then you bring a gift to and we throw it in the pot, and then you pick one, and then if it's her turn, she could pick
There was
one
a whole
that someone
itinerary.
has.
Yeah.
And there was a Lions football helmet chip dip
I just ate
container
chips out of that
that this
yesterday.
girl had and was so excited. And Patty goes, "I want that."
It was my turn. It was fair game, and I took it.
She was
mad.
angry, and it was her first year
Wait,
at my
was
party.
so it was one of those where if you could call out somebody else's present if you won something, so
Yeah.
you could be like, I want that present.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
see the.
And it got nasty. It got political. It got almost physical. And that girl never came back again.
Sorry,
That was her
girl.
first year. Anyway, I didn't
Sorry,
mean to
girl.
get into that.
So, Jason, tell us about the Roam Home initiative that
Yeah,
you've
what is
created. We're excited to hear all about it and get involved.
What does it stand for?
Royal Oak. We just needed something to encourage people to come home. So we weren't going to call it like a homecoming celebration or something like that. Cause
I love it.
there's
Roam
something-
Home.
So Roam Home was what we came up with. It's basically I twisted the arms of city officials and Chamber of Commerce and school district people and a whole bunch of people to come to a few meetings so far.
Bunch of leaders.
Bunch of
leaders in our
civic-
community.
Civic leadership.
Yeah.
Around the idea of us celebrating ourselves, not necessarily having a promoter.
Paula and I do that regularly.
Right? That's
We're
awesome.
going to do it at 4.
At 4 o'clock today.
Good times.
Clausen Steakhouse now.
But I guess the point being, for a long time, people have looked to a promoter or somebody to bring people to town, and from my perspective, I've seen a lot
Just
of
get your butt home is basically.
yeah. Well,
what
there's a
you're
lot
saying.
of groups and organizations that are aging, and they're not filling the ranks with younger people to volunteer or be a part of those.
Optimist Club. We
I
got
know.
to get some young
The hope would be
meat in
that
there.
35 years from now, there's somebody keeping a Bestis concert happening in town. You know
Right?
what I'm saying? So,
And the cookie exchange. Yeah, I mean,
but that's
no, I hear what you're saying.
that's how a community survives for a long time. So this effort is not to be the city throwing a party for everybody to maybe come to, but for every group in town to do something awesome to encourage their people to come back that week, and then all of us be able to communicate that effort as one big voice. So
And so a group, an individual, or an organization can register their activity, and it's included in the official lineup
yes.
of events.
So it is a one-day event, or is it
No.
a
So
year-long?
it'll be a week-long celebration. October of 2019 is when we're going to launch it.
Oh,
So
so I've got time to get something together.
It's
Yeah,
a year.
whole year.
We just started talking about it on Friday, actually. As far as sort of putting the word out there. So hopefully we'll have a kickoff celebration at the farmers market with.
It would be a great, like a fair, a service fair, where everybody could have a booth or a table to promote their mission and how they're helping
Yep.
the city and try and get new members.
So if every
Like
group,
Interclub.
it could
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
But open to the public.
So interclub, it could be church groups, it could be a chess club from the high school has a
Oh.
table, or it could be it could be CMN TV is there with a table talking
We
about
got to
what they
do something there.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. So the hope is there's hundreds of those things, and then we'll have some fun stuff happening that night too. Somehow, probably some music or something. Probably people selling food or something, just to make
Food
it.
trucks.
Hey, I know,
event.
this is what I want to say. I want to see
Yeah.
someone climb the side of a building. That would be cool.
Like, where did that come from?
Because that draws people from all over. Don't you want to see someone come down the side of like a brand new building in our city? That would be, what's that called?
I don't know, repelling.
Rappelling from
Yeah.
a rooftop?
My friend who's
Dressed as
blind
Spider-Man.
is doing a double. She's raising money for Leader Dogs of the Blind. I think it's happening today. She's rappelling. She's blind since birth.
Oh yeah.
Well, then we get
9
her.
stories down a building.
That's awesome.
Double
Doesn't,
dog.
it
It's a
doesn't
double dog
sound
dare.
like she's going to be very fast.
She goes skiing. I'm
Blind.
like, how do you ski?
Amazing.
I always see her going by on a bike.
We need
on
to
the
have her
back
on
of a
the
bike. She is amazing.
That's awesome. So I don't know if we'll have any repelling at that event. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I think Patty's going to do
I'm
it.
full of ideas.
You need to do
So
it.
full
some
of
of, the que-
ideas.
some of the questions about that have been, hey, are you guys throwing this event? No, we're going to throw a kickoff event, but then everybody else do stuff throughout the week. So it might be, hey, you're having like an 80s night at the Rock on Third, and you're going to play all 80s music that night or something for people who graduated in the 80s. It could be tons of things like that that crop up.
But then there's a final closure at Spooktacular.
Yeah, so we'll have.
So it'll end the
that'll sort
week.
of bookend the thing with two community type of things. So one's like a bazaar of all the volunteers in town and in groups that you can be a part of, and then the other is the sort of kids trick or treating.
I like it. I think it's a great idea.
Maybe someday it ends up having like homecoming football games and stuff that weekend as well. But
Speaking of homecoming football games, I wish, and I guess in the past, Royal Oak used to have a homecoming parade down Main Street.
yes.
Yeah, I know.
And now they go around the little circle drive.
By the way, that was the
Lame.
That comment was Shelley Kemp's comment at a meeting from the Chamber of Commerce, but it was at a DDA meeting a few months in the spring, and Sean Kammer from City Hall was asking, hey, what are some ideas for events in downtown? And Shelley was remembering that fondly, and that got my wheels turning, and then I thought about it for about 24 hours, and the next day I sent this huge email to everybody in town with this idea. From that idea, basically, is this homecoming sort of concept. It's refined it a lot more with a whole lot more people.
Well, it could involve everyone.
Yes.
As opposed to just school.
Yes, but
And the schools.
but yeah, that whole idea of everybody. I mean, we started this celebration of the arts, which happens every June, that first Saturday in June.
Oh, that is such a special event.
It's for the same thing, except for arts related, which is hey, there's a bunch of different groups in town. Like, the people that go see the Royal Oak Symphony might not go see the children's choir or something like. And getting all of those sort of groups to come to one event shares all of their messaging and all of their audiences.
Because they might not even know about each other.
Yes. So just trying to get more people connected.
And it's networking, too. Once you get somewhere, you network, and more things come out of it, and it's
Yes.
just a blooming onion.
Blooming onion.
Yeah, well, my comment is that people want to have some guidance, and they kind of need to know what to do, because I feel like when the city shut down Main Street in Royal Oak, nobody knew what to do with themselves.
Right.
It was kind of nice and quiet to sit outside and eat, but no one really knew what to do with the empty Main Street, and it didn't really evolve. I don't think they tried it again this summer.
They did not.
But so people like to have some direction and be told what to do. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have some organization.
I see it. I go downtown Detroit all the time, and I see so much growth down there. They cut off the street between Jefferson and Woodward, that block, and
Yep.
it's just amazing what's going on down there.
Well, what else, Jason, do you like about the city of Royal Oak? Where's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, let me think about that.
Are you going to pledge allegiance to one?
I don't know if I have a favorite restaurant.
Your trifecta.
Some that you like.
I don't even think about it like that. Most of the time, I just go to Holiday Market and buy food to
Oh my
take to my
God.
office because
I
it's
know,
right
it's
around the
so
corner.
easy
I'm
and-
like,
I love Holiday Market because there is a cashier at every aisle all the time.
the other
There's
thing is
never a line.
they always have like the stuff that's going to expire soon.
Yeah.
That's really only the place
Like
I
a piece of pie.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
let me-
love Holiday
look,
Market.
what am I going to eat today? Let me see what they have on the discount bin, which is horrible.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's like my favorite. So I go there a lot of times for breakfast or lunch or something. And I
You know,
would go
we
there.
need more restaurants on Main Street on the south side of town. That's going to happen with that new construction at 696 and between Washington and Maine. When that goes up, your side of Main Street is going to fill in.
Nice.
Who knows what'll come in?
You know what else
Probably
is going to be?
kick us out of our building. They'll be like,
No.
we're going to buy up the block and
You're
build more
not.
condos.
We're too good for you now.
Well, everyone's going to Hazel Park now. But you know what I'm interested to see is the 13 in Woodward. What's going to happen there? Have you seen the progress?
Beaumont, all that? Oh
It's
my
like a
gosh,
little
I can't
village
even
in there.
Awesome, yeah.
It's going to be a specialty grocery store and some restaurants
Hold
and
on.
a hotel.
All the Facebook commenters are already mad at you right now. They're just like,
They don't
change
wanna
is
see
awful.
that.
We don't want to see anything
Yeah,
change.
I
oh,
wanted
I'm like,
to.
what did I do?
No, I'm kidding.
Jason, comment a little bit on people on Facebook, those trolls that are naysayers. What do you have to say to them?
Oh, I hate it. I think I shouldn't even say what I just wanted to say, but let me just say this. I was at something recently, could have been very recent, that someone asked a question, but they're not asking a question for really asking a question. They're asking a question to make themselves feel better, and to look like a hero, right? So this example was in the context of some changes in traffic, and they were like, "Are they gonna?" I forget what the question was.
How's this gonna affect
How's
me?
this going to affect me? And it was they're going to give people tickets for that. Well, they should give people tickets for this. And it's like, well, that's a comment, and I don't know if this is the right person. Maybe you should call the chief of police.
Yeah, none of us are prepared to answer that.
Nobody in the room is.
We're trying to
do with
talk
it.
about roam home, not getting tickets. Okay?
Yeah, it's not a city council meeting.
No, it is
No.
not a city council meeting.
No, and Facebook isn't a city council meeting either.
Oh,
And
I
think
know.
people-
It's
But
supposed to be
you
fun.
should go to a city council meeting if you have these concerns.
Yeah.
That's where your voice will be recognized.
Call the mayor,
Facebook is
like-
not the place.
No, like calling people out like that is a horrible thing for you and for them, because it doesn't elicit a dialogue. It's just like, well, whatever, drop the mic, I'm walking away with my comment. And you're like,
Nah, nah, nah.
this is
What
not
just happened?
Yeah,
Oh, well.
it's not the forum for that. The forum for that is a public meeting, a city meeting, to go have an opinion.
Let's try and stay positive, people.
Yeah.
Be kind and stay
So
positive.
that's one of the things people asked about this roam home thing. They're like, hey, can any group sign up? And I'm like, so far, pretty much. But unless it's something that divides people, like if somebody's going
Right.
to be there yelling about their side versus another side, I don't think that's a good.
Not welcome.
I don't think that's a good thing to
It's
elevate.
not for the city.
Does it have to be Royal Oak based, though?
That would be the hope. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So I will tell my friends in
all about the
Clausen,
RO.
you're not
Stay home.
invited. No.
I could come with you.
I don't really have a lot of friends in Clausen.
You know what? Let me think about that
I
for
love
one second.
Clausen,
As
though.
I think about that, probably, I mean, the group should be Royal Oak based, but the people might be from greater than Royal Oak, I guess. If that
Well,
What
it
if
is
it's-
about highlighting Royal Oak.
yeah.
What if it's cities that touch Royal Oak
Yeah.
that share a boundary?
You
Right.
just
then
keep your hands to
we
yourself,
could have
Paula.
Madison Heights.
Everybody should have boundaries, Paula.
Yes,
I know.
even you.
I know.
Well, roam home, royaloak.com is the website.
Yes.
And information will be changing constantly or
For the next year.
updated as more information comes along.
Is there going to be like a website?
There's a website now
Roam
where you
home,
could,
royaloak.com. I
you
just
could
said
go
it.
there.
Okay, whatever. I was thinking about something else.
you
and
could
making dinner
totally
tonight.
go there. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. You could totally go there and submit ideas for what you'd like to pull off.
Ooh.
There's a form. It currently just goes into a spreadsheet, but then after the next couple of months of rolling this out to different groups in town and people start to populate that form, then we'll start having more, not to say public meetings, but meetings where more people are coming to talk about their
You
stuff.
need more people that are going to take action
Yes.
to get involved. The sooner the better.
Yes. So hopefully there's more champions for a lot of those things.
Well, I think the optimists got to do something.
Oh, yeah. That's a
So
shout out
crazy.
to all you in the Optimist Club. Get ready. Paula's going to propose something.
And the whole thing is, nobody needs to add anything new to their lives, but do something you would have normally done in October every year that week. And then they're all under the same sort of umbrella of marketing our city and our people and our activities and our service clubs.
So it's time to start brainstorming.
I think more people need to join service clubs and give
Yeah.
back to the community. So
Younger people.
yes,
We need more younger
at
people.
7:15 a.m. at National Coney Island. That is the tough. We have so many people that want to be involved with the Optimists, but they're 7:15.
Not very optimistic.
I don't know. Don't you find when you get up in the morning early, it's like you have more of your day? Like my brother sleeps till like 11, 10:30. I'm
Well,
like,
he might be listening. Shh.
he doesn't.
I-
He doesn't even know I have this show.
The last few
Whoop.
weeks, I haven't had much time off in the last few weeks, and every day it starts super early, and I think, as soon as I get out of bed, I think, okay, I'm gonna be home by like 10:30, and then I can go to sleep at like 10. That's the first thing out of my brain in the morning is when
do I go to bed?
When do
Am
I
I
get to come
done?
back to go back to bed?
I say that at parties. As soon as we arrive, I'm like, okay, what time are we leaving?
Oh, my
I'm just-
husband
it's
will
my
do
habit.
that. How long are we staying? I said, till I'm not having fun. That's when we're going.
I was working the gate on Saturday at Barktoberfest, and one of the conversations was how to leave a party, and everybody was talking about just like
Ghosting.
ghosting people, or there was some other word for one of them. I can't remember what it was, but just turn around and leaving without saying bye to anybody. They're like, that's the best way to do it. Like, you get
Sometimes
up,
you have to.
right?
I know. Well, this was a lot of fun, and believe it or not, our time has ended.
What?
So
I didn't get to tell my story. I'll
I
tell you
know.
guys after.
Okay, after party. So thanks for watching another episode of the Chatty Patty
Pala Walla
Talk Show.
Nice.
Hello, hello, hello. It's the Chatty Patty Pala Walla Talk Show. Hello, hello, hello. It's the Chatty Patty Pala Walla Talk
We
Show.
will talk about the things that mean so much to you, like going to a restaurant or hanging at the zoo, clothes and sports and funny news, crafts and travel too. Nothing ever scripted, so expect the unexpected.
Hello, hello, hello. It's the Chatty